How would you feel if your life was controlled for so long that you no longer recognized your own dreams? This is the story of two sisters, not just ordinary sisters but identical twins, Annabel and Mirabel. They looked exactly alike. Same face, same eyes, same smile. To strangers they were impossible to tell apart. But inside they were completely different. Mirabel was fierce and determined. She was the kind of girl who chased her dreams with everything she had. When she wanted something, she didn't rest until she got it. She believed in herself even when the world stood against her. Annabel, on the other hand, was gentle and quiet. She avoided stress, arguments, and conflict. She always chose peace over her own happiness. If someone asked her to do something, even if it hurt her, she would agree without complaint. Deep down she had dreams too, but she buried them for the sake of others. They were the daughters of a wealthy businessman, Mr. Desmond, a man who believed he always knew what was best for his children. To him there was only one perfect path for a woman, becoming a nurse. He believed it so strongly that he made it a rule in his house. Not a suggestion, not a discussion, a rule. And in his house, rules were not meant to be broken. From a young age, he did everything possible to ensure both daughters would study nursing. He planned their future before they even understood what dreams were. But the truth was, nursing was never their dream. Annabel, the elder twin, had always wanted to be a singer. Music lived inside her soul. When she sang, it felt like she was finally free. But after years of pressure, persuasion, and emotional control from her father, she gave up. Not because she stopped loving music, but because she loved peace more. She convinced herself that making her father happy was more important than making herself happy. She chose silence over her voice. Mirabel, however, was different. She refused to let go. From childhood she had always loved fashion. Colors, fabrics, designs, it was her world. She didn't just want to be a model, she wanted to be a fashion model. She dreamed of walking runways, designing styles, and expressing herself through creativity. But in her father's house, dreams like that were seen as foolish. Every time she tried, she failed, not because she wasn't good enough, but because her father's strict rules blocked every opportunity. He controlled everything, what they studied, where they went, how they lived. You are going to university, he would say, not to study what you like, but what I want. And so, both sisters were forced into nursing school. They struggled. It wasn't their passion, so nothing felt natural. They failed exams, lost motivation, and felt trapped. But their father didn't care. With money and influence, he made sure they passed. He paid his way through their education, determined that nothing would stop his plan. You must become nurses, he would say, whether you like it or not. Mirabel couldn't take it anymore. One day she finally gathered the courage to speak. "Dad," she said, her voice shaking but strong, "I don't want to be a nurse. I want to be a model, not just any model, a fashion model." She took a step forward, her eyes shining with hope. "Dad, come on, won't you be happy to see your daughter on TV shows? On big stages? I have the shape, the face, the skin, everything they need in a model. Just help me find a modeling agency. That's all I'm asking for." For a moment the room fell silent. Then suddenly, her father's face hardened. His eyes burned with anger. "Mirabel," he snapped, "as long as you are my daughter you will be a nurse. And there is nothing you can do about it." His voice echoed through the house like thunder. Annabel stood quietly by the door, her hands clasped together. Her lips parted slightly as if she wanted to speak. "I don't even like this course," she whispered to herself. But the words never came out. Fear held her back. She didn't want to anger her father. She didn't want to bring chaos into the family. So, like always, she chose silence. "Mirabel," Annabel finally called softly, "let's just continue with the course. It's not that bad. Dad always says nursing has a lot of opportunities. When we finish school we'll have good jobs." Mirabel turned sharply, her eyes filled with frustration. "If you want to continue studying it, fine, you can," she said firmly. "But me? I won't." With that, she stormed out of the parlor, her footsteps heavy with anger. Annabel remained standing there, confused and hurt.
Peace? After what you
I
did?
was only trying to make peace,
Eisenhower.
she muttered
Help!
quietly.
You made it worse!
Their mother sat in silence the entire time. She rarely spoke. In this house, her voice carried little weight. She followed her husband's decisions, whether they were right or wrong. To her, as long as her husband made the choice, it was final. My daughters, she said gently at last, your father is doing the right thing for both of you. I'm sure one day you will thank him, maybe when you start working in the hospital as
But,
nurses.
Mom,
But Mom,
don't worry, my dear.
Mirabel tried
I know
to
what you
speak.
want to say.
Don't worry, my
But your
dear,
father and I only
her
want the
mother
best for you.
interrupted softly. I know what you want to say. But your father and I only want the best for you. Annabel nodded slowly, choosing to believe her mother's words. But Mirabel? She couldn't accept it. She stood up, her chest rising and falling as emotions filled her heart. Without another word, she walked away. Tears burned in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. This is not what I want, she whispered to herself. And nobody seems to care, nobody wants to help me. Her fists clenched. I will fight for myself. I will get what I want, no matter what. Nobody can stop me, not even my. She paused. The word felt heavy. Father. It was hard for her to say, because deep down she knew the truth. As long as she continued living under his roof, her freedom would never truly be hers. The two girls continued studying nursing, but their approach to it was completely different. Every night, Annabel stayed up late, her eyes heavy with sleep as she forced herself to read. She would sit at her desk for hours, flipping through pages, trying her best to understand what never truly felt like her own. Mirabel, on the other hand, was always on her phone. Scrolling. Searching. Hoping. From one website to another, she looked for modeling agencies. She posted on TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook. Anywhere she could be seen. I'm looking for a modeling agency, she would write, attaching her pictures, her dreams hidden behind every post. Maybe someone will notice me, she would whisper to herself. One night, Annabel looked up from her books and sighed. Mirabel, she said softly, you know exams are fast approaching. Can't you help yourself by reading? You and I both know that even if you find an agency, Dad won't allow it. She paused, choosing her words carefully. So, just accept your fate and do what is right for you. The room went silent. Then suddenly, Mirabel jumped up from her bed, anger burning in her eyes. Don't you ever tell me what to do, she snapped. Annabel froze. You and I both know you don't even understand what you're reading, Mirabel continued. And me? I won't waste my time reading something I don't understand. Her voice grew stronger, filled with passion. I will do what I like. I will chase my dreams and become who I want to be. Nobody can stop me. She stepped closer, her words sharper now. I'm not a dream killer like you. That sentence hit Annabel like a slap. But Mirabel wasn't done. We both know you love singing. You've wanted to be a singer since you were little, she said. But look at you now, chasing another man's dream. Her voice softened for a moment, but the pain remained. Come on, sis, stand up for yourself. Put yourself first. Don't sit here lecturing me on how to live my life. Then her expression changed again, anger rising. And we both know Dad has been sorting out your courses secretly. Yet he praises you in front of the world just to make me feel less than you. Without waiting for a reply, she stormed out of the room. The door slammed. Silence filled the space. Annabel stood there, frozen in shock. Her mind replayed every word her sister had said. Am I really a dream killer?
Am I really
She shook her head slowly. No. I'm just trying to support the family, she whispered. She sat down on her bed, hugging herself. Besides, Dad always says artists are poor, that they don't make it in life. Nursing is stable, safe. She took a deep breath, trying to convince herself. I'll just finish this first. When I'm done, I'll chase my dream. Somewhere far away, where nobody can stop me. But deep down, even she wasn't sure if that day would ever come. 1 month later, the exams were finally over. Just like always, their father made sure everything was taken care of. Not only their courses, but even their results. Nothing was left to chance. Now his daughters were officially graduates. This was everything Mr. Desmond had always wanted, everything he had prayed for. And finally it had happened, exactly the way he wanted it. A celebration was held in their parlor. The house was filled with guests, workers, business partners, friends, and well-wishers. The news had spread quickly. Chief Desmond's daughters have graduated. People came in large numbers to admire them. Some praised loudly. Others whispered quietly. "These girls are lucky," one woman said. Another leaned closer and murmured, "But is this really what they wanted? I could never force my children to study what they don't like." "Well," another replied, shrugging, "it's nursing. A good course. Who are we to question it? They will thank their father later, especially that Mirabel who thinks he's wrong." Across the room, Mr. Desmond stood proudly, introducing his daughters to everyone. "These are my girls," he said with a wide smile. "Both nurses." There was pride in his voice, but also control. Mirabel stood beside him, trying to force a smile. But it wouldn't stay. How could she smile for something she never wanted, something she never truly worked for? Beside her, Annabel smiled genuinely, but for a different reason. She was happy to finally be free from school. Now I can travel, she thought. She had heard it many times. Nurses had opportunities abroad. That was her plan. She wanted to leave. Not just to work, but to finally chase her dream of singing, far away from her father's control. If I leave this country, she thought, he won't be able to control my life anymore. The celebration continued late into the night. Laughter, music, praises. But behind the smiles, there were silent battles. After the celebration, the house finally grew quiet. The next morning, Mirabel walked straight into her father's office. Her face was serious. No fear this time. No hesitation. She placed her certificate on his table. "Dad," she said calmly, "thank you for wasting 5 years of my life." Mr. Desmond looked up, shocked. "I waited patiently for this to end," she continued. "And now I'm finally done." She pushed the certificate closer to him. "This is what you always wanted, right? Your daughter, a nurse." Her voice softened slightly, but her eyes remained firm. "So please, can you now help me get what I want?" She took a deep breath. "A modeling agency, Dad. That's all I'm asking for." Her voice almost broke, but she held herself together. "I have sacrificed enough for you. How dare you come to my office and disgrace me?" her father snapped, his voice echoing through the room. "I will never forgive you for this, Mirabel." Mirabel stood frozen, her hands trembling but her eyes still filled with anger and pain. "You cannot become a model in my house. And over my dead body will I ever find you any agency." "Dad, please," Mirabel said quickly. "Your friend owns a modeling agency. You can just connect me to him. Please, Dad." But Mr. Desmond slammed his hand on the desk. "You will never be a model. That is final." His eyes were cold, unshaken. "And don't ever bring that nonsense into my house again." Mirabel's heart sank. Then he added harshly, "So you want to become a prostitute? Wearing revealing clothes and posting yourself all over social media in the name of modeling?" Mirabel gasped, tears forming in her eyes. "That is what you think of me?" she whispered. But he didn't answer. Instead he turned away. "I have already contacted the manager of Ruth Hospital. You and your sister will start working there tomorrow morning." His voice carried authority like a command no one could challenge. Then he walked out of the office without another word. Mirabel collapsed to her knees. Sobs escaped her lips as the weight of everything crashed down on her. Why is he always controlling my life?" she cried. "I'm not a child anymore." Her voice broke. "I'm 25 years old, and my family still treats me like I'm 5. She wiped her tears angrily. "I, Mirabel, will never work in a hospital. Never. I would rather leave this house." That night, Annabel went to her father's room. "Dad," she said softly, standing by the door, "now that we are done with school, when are we leaving the country to work abroad?" Her father looked up and smiled warmly. "Oh, my princess," he said gently, "you and your sister will travel, but not now. You are both too young to stay alone in a strange country." Annabel frowned slightly. "But Dad, we are 25. He chuckled softly. "I know, my princess, but you are still my babies. I need you both close to me, so I can always keep an eye on you." Annabel lowered her gaze, silent. Then he smiled again as if remembering something. "But I have wonderful news for you." "What is it?" she asked quietly. "You and your sister will start working at Ruth Hospital first thing tomorrow morning." Annabel looked up immediately, her expression filled with disappointment. "Don't you like it?" her father asked, noticing her reaction. "Are you not happy to start work tomorrow?" She hesitated. Then she shook her head slowly. "No, Dad. I'm not happy. I don't even know anything as a nurse. How am I supposed to do it?" Mr. Desmond smiled confidently. "Don't worry, my princess. You will learn. Time will come when you will see other nurses doing it, Annabel's father said calmly. It's just a matter of time, my dear. And patients are part of the job. All right, Dad, Annabel replied softly as she went back to her room. But inside her mind, fear was growing. How am I going to do this? She thought anxiously. I don't even like seeing blood. Not even talking about seeing someone vomit. Oh God, please help me. I pray I don't regret all this. The next morning, the house was unusually busy. Mr. Desmond was already downstairs, dressed and waiting. Annabel, Mirabel, where are you two? Come down quickly. You don't want to be late on your first day of work. A few moments later, Annabel came downstairs wearing her nursing uniform. Her father's face immediately lit up with pride. Wow, my beautiful angel, he said, smiling widely. You look so beautiful. Her mother also smiled softly. You look good, my daughter. Then her eyes searched around. But where is your sister? Mirabel? Annabel paused. Me? I don't know, she said honestly. I thought she was already downstairs, or maybe she's still in her room. What do you mean? Her father asked sharply. Isn't it both of you that sleep in the same room? Share the same bathroom? So when did she leave that you didn't notice? No, Dad, Annabel replied quickly. She didn't sleep in our room last night. I thought she might be in another room, maybe the guest house or something. What? Mr. Desmond's voice rose instantly. Mirabel did not sleep in this house? Annabel nodded slowly. Yes, Dad. Mr. Desmond immediately turned to one of the servants. Go and check all the guest rooms. Every single one. The servant rushed off. Minutes later she returned. Sir, I just finished checking all the guest rooms. No one is there. Silence. Then, Mr. Desmond's face twisted in anger. So Mirabel did not sleep in this house? He said slowly, his voice low and dangerous. He turned sharply toward his wife. What kind of mother are you? Your daughter didn't sleep in this house and you didn't know? How can you be so careless? You cannot even take care of just 2 children. His voice rose higher. I wonder what would happen if you had 5 children. And if anything happens to my daughter, he pointed angrily, I will teach you a lesson you will never forget. With that, he stormed out of the house. Mrs. Elizabeth stood frozen. Her eyes filled with tears. My daughter? She whispered helplessly. Mirabel, where are you? Mrs. Elizabeth cried helplessly. Where will your sister be, Annabel? Oh God, please protect my child. I cannot lose them. They are the only thing I have. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, her hands shaking as she prayed. Back at home, panic filled the house. But far away from all the chaos, Mirabel was somewhere else, safe yet still troubled. She was at her friend's house. Not just a friend, but her best friend, Faith. Faith had always been the only one who truly supported her. No judgment. No pressure. Just understanding. Faith gently held Mirabel's hands. Mirabel, pick up your calls, she said softly. Or you should go back home. Your family is worried. Mirabel shook her head immediately. No, Faith, she replied firmly. My family doesn't care about me. If they truly cared like they always say, they would have helped me find a modeling agency by now. Faith sighed, sitting beside her. I understand you, she said gently, but you still have to go home, okay? Mirabel looked away, conflicted. Home. That word now felt heavy. Safe, but also a prison. She stayed silent, her thoughts spinning. Do they really care? Or do they just want to control me forever? Faith squeezed her hand again. Running away won't solve everything, Mirabel. But going back might at least keep you safe for now. Mirabel lowered her eyes, silent. For the first time that morning, doubt crept into her heart. The next morning, after listening to her best friend's advice, Mirabel finally decided to go back home. But when she arrived, the house was already filled with panic. Her mother was moving from one room to another, searching anxiously. Annabel sat with her phone, calling Mirabel again and again, her face filled with worry. And Mr. Desmond, though in his office, couldn't concentrate. His mind was restless, wondering where his daughter could be. The moment Mirabel stepped into the house, her mother rushed toward her. Mirabel, my child, she cried, pulling her into a tight hug. Where have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you. You kept me so worried. Tears filled her eyes. I'm so sorry, my child, forgive me. I wasn't able to protect you. That was all it took. Mirabel broke down. Mom, she sobbed, tears streaming down her
Mama,
face. I
I
don't
don't
understand why
understand
I
why
can't
I
make
can't
my
make
own
my own
choices.
choices.
Her voice
I
trembled.
wouldn't have
I wouldn't
left
have
the
left the
house
house
if
if
Dad had
Dad had
just
just listened to
me.
me. She wiped her tears, her voice becoming stronger. I don't like nursing. I don't want to be a nurse. I only want to be a model, that's where my dreams are. Her mother held her face gently. I understand, my child, she said softly. I will talk to your father. Then she looked at her seriously. But promise me, you won't leave the house like that again. Mirabel nodded slowly. Yes, Mom? I promise. Good, her mother said, forcing a small smile. Now go upstairs and freshen up. When your father comes back, I will speak to him. Annabel was sitting on the bed looking worried. The moment she saw Mirabel, she stood up quickly and rushed toward her, hugging her tightly. Why did you scare us like that? Annabel said, her voice shaking. We were all worried, especially Dad. He was really worried about you. Mirabel didn't reply. She gently pulled away and sat down on the bed, lost in her thoughts. What will Dad say this time? But deep down, she had already made up her mind. This time she was ready for anything. Not long after, Mr. Desmond received a call from his wife. Mirabel is back. Without wasting a second, he rushed home. He didn't stop in the living room. He didn't speak to anyone. He went straight to her room. Mirabel, he called as he pushed the door open. She looked up. Immediately she saw it, the anger in his eyes. But this time, she didn't look away. She was ready. Before she could say anything, how dare you leave this house, he snapped. His voice was loud, filled with rage. And where did you sleep? In a man's house? Is that what you want? Is that the kind of life you want because you want to be a model? Mirabel's heart pounded, but she stayed silent. Why can't you be like your sister Annabel? He continued. Respectful, obedient, calm. His voice grew sharper. Why are you always the one who disgraced me? Before Mirabel could say a word, he snapped again. For that, Mirabel, you are grounded. His voice echoed in the room. And not just that, all your allowances are withdrawn. You will not have access to any money again, not even your own bank account. He turned and stormed out angrily. Silence filled the room. The words hit her like a heavy blow. Mirabel slowly fell to her knees. Her mother and Annabel stood there, shocked, tears rolling down their faces. They didn't know what to say, or what to do. They both rushed to her and held her tightly. Her mother whispered softly, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry, my daughter. I wish I could help you. You know your father. Once he says something, he never goes back on his words. The three of them cried together, their sorrow echoing through the house. From that day on, Mirabel became a shadow in her own home. She was always inside, quiet, withdrawn. Meanwhile, her twin sister Annabel had everything she wanted. She started working at the hospital. Everything seemed perfect for her. She never complained, not even once. She woke up early every day, prepared for work, and slowly became their father's favorite child. But Mirabel, she was breaking inside. She cried in secret. She refused to eat. Her mother would always come to her room worried. Mirabel, my daughter, she would plead gently, please eat for me. You're getting thinner. I don't want you to fall sick. But Mirabel would shake her head. I won't eat, not until I get what I want. Her mother would sigh, helpless, and quietly leave the room. Yet even with all the punishment, Mirabel never gave up. She still went online secretly, searching for modeling opportunities. She kept posting pictures, hoping, just hoping, that one day someone would notice her. She held on to her dream tightly. One day, my family will see what I see in myself, she thought. They will believe in me. I promised myself that. One evening, when Annabel returned from work, Mirabel looked at her and asked softly, How's work going, sis? I hope you're enjoying it. Annabel forced a smile. Yes, I am, at least I'm not locked up inside like you. Her words were sharp. I think you should just obey Dad so you can be free. Mirabel looked at her sister quietly. She said nothing, but something changed inside her. That night, her phone buzzed. She quickly picked it up. It was a message from a friend on Instagram. I have a place where you can do modeling training, if you're ready. Let's meet at a restaurant. Mirabel's heart skipped. Excitement rushed through her, but she quickly hid it. She didn't want anyone to suspect anything. Then suddenly, reality hit her. I'm grounded, how will I leave the house? Her mind raced, then she remembered Annabel's words. Just obey Dad, so you can be free. Immediately, Mirabel stood up and walked to her father's room. She knocked softly. Dad? she called in a low voice. He glanced at her but said nothing. Dad, she called again. This time, he slowly lifted his eyes to look at her. Mirabel swallowed hard. Dad, I'm sorry for disobeying you. Please forgive me. She took a deep breath. I'm ready to obey you now. I will work as a nurse. Her father stared at her for a moment. Slowly, he stood up from his seat. Mirabel, are you sure of what you're saying? Yes, Dad. I'm sure, she replied. Then she added carefully, but I don't want to work in the same hospital as my sister. I need a different hospital so we can both learn properly. Her father frowned slightly. We always play when we're together, she continued quickly. It will make us lose concentration. Her father looked confused, but also a little suspicious. Mirabel, he said in a low, deep voice, Ruth Hospital is the best place for you to learn and work. Mirabel shook her head. I know, Dad, but my friend just introduced me to another hospital. It's very good. People are even recommending it on social media. He narrowed his eyes. All right then, what's the name of the hospital? Mirabel froze. Her heart skipped. What do I say? It's. She hesitated for a second. Evergrace, Dad. Yes, Evergrace. Her father stared at her. Are you sure? Because I've never heard of that hospital before. Mirabel nodded quickly. Yes, sir. There was a short silence. Then he sighed. All right, if you say so. When do you want to start? Tomorrow. Tomorrow? He repeated, surprised. Yes, Dad, she said, twisting her fingers nervously. All right. I'll drop you and your sister there. No, she said quickly, then corrected herself. I mean, you don't have to, Dad. My friend works there too. I'll meet her at the junction tomorrow. He looked at her carefully. Mirabel, are you sure? Yes, sir, she replied quickly. He nodded slowly. All right then. Mirabel turned to leave. Wait, he said. She froze. I need to see the hospital I'm sending my daughter to, and also speak with the manager. Her heart jumped. Okay, sir, she said, trying to stay calm. The next morning, Mirabel woke up very early and began to prepare. Annabel did the same. Mirabel, Annabel called, surprised. Why are you up so early? Mirabel said nothing. Will you just mind your business? She snapped. I don't have the strength to talk this morning. Annabel raised an eyebrow. And why are you wearing a nursing uniform? She paused, then smirked slightly. Wait, don't tell me what I'm thinking is true. She stepped closer. Are you finally back to your senses? You've decided to obey Dad now? Mirabel stopped for a moment, then slowly turned to look at her sister. Annabel laughed. But Mirabel, she already knew what she wanted. She ignored her sister and continued dressing quietly. When Annabel wasn't looking, Mirabel packed her bag carefully, hiding a different outfit inside her handbag. Soon both girls went downstairs. As usual, their father was already waiting. Good morning, my pretty princesses, he said. Good morning, Dad, they both replied. Their mother turned and froze. She was shocked to see Mirabel in a nursing uniform. Oh my God, bless you, my daughter, she said happily, pulling her into a hug. Thank you for listening to us. Mirabel forced a smile. Before her father could say anything, she spoke quickly. Mom, Dad, I have to go now. My friend is already waiting for me. And just like that, she left the house. Her mother looked confused. Why did she leave alone? Aren't you dropping her? She asked her husband. Mr. Desmond shook his head. No. She's working at a different hospital. A different hospital? Her mother asked. Yes. Evergrace Hospital. Mrs. Elizabeth frowned. That name sounds strange. Annabel stood quietly. Something didn't feel right. I don't think Mirabel is going to any hospital, she thought. But she wasn't completely sure yet. Meanwhile, Mirabel arrived at her friend Faith's house. Faith opened the door and was shocked. Mirabel, what are you doing here? And why are you in a nursing uniform? She looked at her carefully. Wait, have you finally given up on your dream? God forbid. Mirabel said quickly. Give up? Never. Faith frowned. But you told me you were grounded, so how did you even come out? Mirabel sighed and sat her down. Then she explained everything. So I came here to change, she said. The lady is waiting for me at a 5-star restaurant. My family doesn't know anything about this. She lowered her voice. I had to deceive my father so he would allow me to leave the house. Faith nodded slowly. All right, that's actually a smart idea. The two of them quickly got ready. Later, Mirabel met the woman. After a long discussion, The woman handed her a card. "This is the agency," she said. "Call him or send an email, or you can visit the office. All the details are on the card." Then she stood up and left. Mirabel stared at the card in her hand. Her heart was full. Slowly she placed it against her chest. "Finally," she whispered. "My dream is coming true." Faith, sitting beside her, smiled. "So, what do you want to do now?" Mirabel hesitated. "I don't know, should I call him? Or go there today?" "No," Faith said firmly. "Message him first. If he replies, then you'll know when to go." Mirabel nodded. "That's a good idea." They both smiled. Then suddenly, Mirabel's face changed. "What if my dad asks to follow me to work tomorrow?" she said, worried. "What will I do?" Faith smiled confidently. "Don't worry. I've got you." She leaned closer. "You remember my uncle I always talk about?" Mirabel nodded. "He's a manager at a hospital. I'll talk to him, he can help cover for you." Mirabel's eyes widened. "Really?" Faith nodded. "Yes. You won't get caught." Faith smiled and held Mirabel's hands tightly. "You're not alone," she said softly. "We are in this together." Mirabel smiled, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you so much, Faith. I don't know what I would do without you." Faith nodded. "So, what time will you be going home?" Mirabel thought for a moment. "As a nurse, I should be back by 6 p.m. Annabelle usually comes home around that time." Then she added, "But first, I need to prepare myself." She picked up her phone and began watching videos, health lessons, hospital routines, anything that could help her act like a real nurse. "If Dad asks me anything, I need to at least sound like I know something," she said. She spent hours watching, learning, and memorizing. Later that evening, Mirabel arrived home. But immediately she stepped inside, she heard loud voices shouting. Her heart skipped. What is going on?" she whispered. "Why is Dad shouting?" Fear gripped her. What if they found out? Her chest tightened, but she forced herself to stay calm. Slowly she walked inside. The noise was coming from her father's room. As she got closer, she realized it was Annabelle. Mirabel rushed in. "What's happening?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Why is Dad shouting at Annabelle?" Her mother turned to her, her face full of worry. "My daughter," she said sadly, "your father got a call from the hospital." Mirabel's heart pounded. "What call?" "Annabelle has not been performing well at work," her mother continued. "She refuses to learn, and today," she paused, struggling to say the words. "Today she almost killed a patient by giving the wrong injection." Mirabel froze. "The hospital has sacked her," her mother added quietly. "She's been sent home." At that moment, Mr. Desmond's voice roared. "How dare you disgrace me outside?" Annabelle was on her knees, crying uncontrollably. "This is how many years you spent studying medicine, and you still don't know the right injection to give?" His anger filled the room. "What if nobody had seen you? What if that patient had died?" He pointed at her. "My name would be destroyed. I would be in jail for murder. Is that what you want?" Annabelle sobbed harder. "I'm so sorry, Dad. It was never my intention." But he didn't calm down. "I am very, very disappointed in you, Annabelle," he said coldly. "After everything I have done for you, this is how you repay me?" His voice dropped, but it was even more dangerous. "From today onward, you are grounded." The room went silent. "I don't even want to see your face right now." Mr. Desmond's voice echoed with anger. "And thank God I have 2 daughters. If you don't want to make me happy by becoming what I want, your sister Mirabel will." Mirabel's heart skipped. "Oh no," she whispered to herself. Before he could call her again, she quickly slipped away and rushed into her room. Her hands were shaking as she picked up her phone. She quickly sent a message to the email on the card. "I have to get this before my father finds out." Not long after, a reply came in. "Yes, I will be at the office tomorrow by 10 a.m. The audition starts at 10. Make sure you are there." Mirabel's heart skipped again, but this time not in fear. "Enjoy." "Finally," she whispered. "God, please, let them pick me tomorrow." That night, she couldn't sleep. She stood in front of the mirror, practicing how to walk, how to turn, how to smile, again and again. She picked out her best clothes and arranged them neatly in her bag. "Tomorrow is going to be a wonderful day," she said to herself.
Tomorrow's going
A
to be a
soft
wonderful
smile
day.
appeared on her
And
face.
from
"And
tomorrow,
from tomorrow,
I will be
I
called
will be
Model
called
Mira.
Model Mira." The next morning, she dressed up quickly. "Dad, Mom, I'm leaving," she called. "Wait, Mirabel," her father said. Why are you leaving so early? I'll drop you today. He smiled proudly. You are the only child that wants to make her father happy, and I will also make you happy. Mirabel's heart tightened. No, Dad, she said quickly. My friend is already waiting. Before he could say anything else, she rushed out of the house, leaving everyone speechless. She got to Faith's house and quickly changed her clothes. Bestie. I'm scared, Mirabel admitted softly. Faith held her hands just like she always did. Don't be scared, she said. I'm with you. Remember, this is what you've always wanted. So go and take it, and make me proud. Mirabel hugged her tightly. Thank you. Faith wiped her tears gently. Go, and succeed. Mirabel left the house by 8 a.m. because the place was far. By 9:30 a.m. she arrived.
Wow.
The place was beautiful, crowded, full of people. Wow, she whispered. Her heart started racing again when she realized she wasn't the only one. Oh God, please help me, she whispered
God,
quietly.
please help me.
Not long after, the manager walked in. Everyone stood up to greet him. Good morning, he said. Good morning, sir, they all replied. He paused. The first 5 people selected will represent us at the World Model Studio. Everyone clapped excitedly. Mirabel's heart raced. If I win, I could leave this country. Oh my God, I can finally be free. The audition began. One by one they walked, practicing their catwalk, showing confidence. The manager sat down, watching carefully, scoring each person. Then, it was Mirabel's turn. She took a deep breath and walked, with confidence, with passion, with everything she had. At the end of the day, the manager stood up. The results will be out in 5 days, he announced. You will all receive an email if you are selected. Everyone slowly left. She went back to Faith's house, waiting, hoping, praying. Each day felt longer than the last. Her heart was filled with only one thought. This is my chance. I cannot lose it. Mirabel spent every single day checking her email, again and again. Even though she knew the result would come after 5 days. Still, she couldn't stop. Hope wouldn't let her rest. Meanwhile, Annabel was no longer herself. She moved around the house like someone lost in her own thoughts. Broken. She kept thinking, I have failed. Not just her family, but herself. Now she worked in her father's company. All her dreams of traveling abroad were gone. Even though she studied nursing for that exact purpose, it still didn't work out. Her voice had slowly disappeared. She barely spoke anymore. Despite all her effort, her father still shouted at her, still complained. You never get anything right, he would say. Even on nights when she stayed awake, making sure documents were completed, emails were sent. He never noticed, never appreciated her. But why would he? His image had already been damaged. His friends mocked him. I thought you always bragged about your 2 daughters being nurses, they said. Now one has already been kicked out. I'm sure the other one will follow. Those words pierced his heart deeply, and he poured that pain back onto Annabel. Annabel slowly realized something painful. She didn't even have time for herself. But she couldn't change anything, because it had always been like this. From the beginning point 5 days later, Mirabel's phone beeped. An email. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Then, she screamed, jumping up from the bed. Finally, tears rolled down her face. I made it. Her dream was finally coming true. But then, she read further. There was a condition. They would undergo 3 days of training, and after that, they would leave the country. Her smile slowly faded. How will I tell my father? That night, Mirabel went to meet Faith's uncle. She begged him, please, help me. Tell my father I have hospital practicals, that I'll be staying there for 3 days. The man hesitated, but eventually agreed. He called her father and explained everything. Though Mr. Desmond was still suspicious, he had no strong reason to refuse. Mirabel, he said, is there no way you can come back home daily? I can drop you. No, Dad, she replied quickly. It's an all-day practical, morning till night. He sighed. All right. But deep down, he wasn't fully convinced. Annabel watched silently as Mirabel packed her bags. Mirabel, she said softly, I think nursing is really your calling. She gave a small, sad smile. You're even happy to stay in the hospital, but me, I can't even stand the sight of blood. Mirabel forced a smile and nodded. But inside, she felt guilty. The next morning, Mirabel left the house before anyone woke up. She went straight to Faith. Faith, she called excitedly. I got in. Faith screamed and hugged her tightly. I'm so happy for you. I knew this day would come. Mirabel held her back. Thank you for everything. I'll miss you. I'll miss you too. They hugged one last time, both in tears. But this time, tears of joy. Mirabel joined the other selected candidates. 5 of them. They were welcomed and treated well. Training began immediately. They were taught posture, confidence, balance, how to walk like professionals. Mirabel was a fast learner. She practiced harder than anyone else. Even when others were sleeping, she stayed up, perfecting herself. She wasn't going to lose this chance. Finally, the last day came. They left the country. Mirabel looked out the window, her heart filled with excitement. This is it. My new life begins now. Back home. Her father grew worried. Mirabel hasn't returned. Something didn't feel right. Today makes it 4 days, her father said. Panic filled the house. They kept calling Mirabel's phone, but it was unreachable. Annabel, however, wasn't too worried. She believed her sister would be fine, wherever she was. I hope she's okay, she whispered to herself. After 3 more days of searching, Mr. Desmond finally gave up. I knew there was something fishy about that girl, he snapped. From today I disown her. She should never come back to my house again. His wife broke down in tears. That is why I needed a male child, he shouted angrily. Female children are always useless. His words cut deep, but no one could speak. Meanwhile, the big day had arrived. The World Model Studio was filled with people. Cameras everywhere. Audiences watching from different countries. The atmosphere was intense. When it was Mirabel's turn, fear filled her heart. Her legs felt weak. But she closed her eyes briefly and told herself, I must win. If not for anything, then to prove to the world that dreams cannot be denied, only delayed. Back home, Faith was watching from the TV. Mirabel, you can do it, she cried, tears in her eyes. At that same moment, one of the workers in Mr. Desmond's company saw the show. She screamed, Isn't that Mirabel? She ran straight to his office. Sir, you need to see this. Mr. Desmond looked at the screen and froze. His eyes widened. Mirabel? He stepped closer. My daughter, on World TV? Tears slowly filled his eyes. For the first time, he cried. Not out of anger, but regret. I've been a bad father. Annabel was scrolling through her phone. Then suddenly, she saw it. Oh my God, she screamed. Mom, look, it's Mirabel. Her mother rushed over, covered her mouth in shock. Oh my God, my child. Tears rolled down her face. Back at the competition, Mirabel walked, confident, strong, unstoppable. Moments later, the result was announced. Mirabel, she had won. She was crowned Best Model of the Year. The crowd erupted in cheers. She held the champion's cup, tears of joy streaming down her face. Her face was everywhere, on billboards, on brands, across the world. She became a global star. When she finally returned home, she went straight to her house. Her father saw her and immediately fell on his knees, crying, Forgive me, my daughter. Annabel stood quietly in the corner, filled with regret. She had spent her whole life trying to please others and lost herself in the process. Mirabel looked at them, stronger now, different. She had finally become who she was meant to be. Moral lesson: always chase your dreams. Never give up on yourself. Dreams may be delayed, but they can never be denied.